This is Optimal Health Daily, episode 907, 10 Food Habits of the Successfully Fit by Chalene Johnson of chalenejohnson.com. And I'm Dr. Neil. Hello, happy Tuesday, and welcome back to Optimal Health Daily, where I simply read to you from the best health and fitness blogs for free. I cover fitness, nutrition, stress management, weight management, and lots more, just like an audiobook, but from a bunch of different authors, and always with permission from the sites. Now, we have a bunch of shows in our network to help you optimize your life. To find them all, just search for Optimal Living Daily wherever you're hearing this. Now, of course, it's the new year and you're probably thinking about some New Year's resolutions, so you might have noticed a theme so far this week. Little tips and tricks that you can do to start your path on maybe some of your New Year's resolutions. And I'm sure you're anxious to hear what Chalene Johnson has to say about food habits, so let's get right to it and continue optimizing your life. 10 Food Habits of the Successfully Fit by Chalene Johnson of chalenejohnson.com. Successfully fit people are successful not because of good luck, birth order, or family heritage, but because they have adopted the right habits. I've spoken to thousands of successfully fit people who feel obliged to share their practices with others. So today, I share with you what they have shared with me. By emulating the habits of successful people, anyone can enjoy the life he or she desires. Learn the habits, adopt the habits, practice the habits, and enjoy the success. It's really that basic. On the menu today, an unbiased look into how the successfully fit approach food. I've done the hard part for you. I've compiled the secrets into one quickly accessible place, regardless of whether they're sexy, interesting, or appropriate by dietitian standards. 10 Food Habits of the Successfully Fit. 1. They tend to stick to the same daily menu. I will go out on a limb and tell you what approximately 0 weight loss experts are willing to share with you. If you Google weight loss tips, nearly every blog and article you will find will suggest that you eat a variety of healthy foods to prevent boredom. Though I don't disagree with this, my job is to tell you what fit people do, not what they should do or what sounds good. I spent nearly 20 years studying people with exceptional eating habits, and the majority tell me that they eat virtually the same meals every day. 2. They eat breakfast. This one common characteristic is not only universal in my experience, it's nearly universal in statistical studies of people who have achieved and maintained a large weight loss goal. The theory is that eating a healthy breakfast reduces hunger throughout the rest of the day. As a result, this decreases the likelihood of overeating and making poor food choices at lunch. 3. They drink water. Drinking enough water is a vital part of any conditioning program because it keeps your body functioning in homeostasis and aids every aspect of bodily functions. 4. They eat small and often. Eating small, frequent meals is the best way to go. When we go longer than 3 hours without eating, our levels of the stress hormone cortisol rise. High cortisol levels signal the body to store fat in the abdomen. 5. They eat whole foods first. Successfully fit people tend to eat mainly whole, unprocessed foods such as fruits, veggies, and whole grains at least 80% of the time. 6. They know their foods. Fit people know, generally speaking, every food's calories and want approximate protein, carbohydrate, and fat content. It's not a case of being an idiot savant, but rather of having an understanding and knowledge of the foods they're putting in their bodies. I want to motivate you to start being curious about your food. Take the time to read labels and take a protective approach to selecting the best fuel for your body. 7. They eat their favorite foods carefully. Despite knowing everything about their foods and tending to stick to the same foods day in and day out, fit people rarely report eliminating foods. If it's something they crave, they enjoy a little taste. They know that simply eliminating foods they love will just set them up to fail when the temptation is too great. It's okay to indulge every once in a while. 8. They don't keep red zone foods in the house. Red zone foods, best described in my book, Push, are the types of foods that cause us to stop and evaluate the consequences of putting them in our bodies. They're unhealthy, highly processed, and typically contain ingredients that aren't pronounceable. If you look into a successfully fit person's fridge or cupboard, you won't find these red zone foods such as cookies, buttered popcorn, candy, ice cream, or soda. They know they can't eat them if they don't have them. 9. They close the kitchen after dinner. Not only do they close the kitchen after dinner, but they eat a dinner at a reasonable time so as to go to bed with an empty, digested stomach. What a concept. Eating dinner late or snacking late after dinner causes you to go to bed with food that is still being digested. This can cause restless sleep and distract your body from doing important things such as repairing cells. And lastly, tip number 10. They're resourceful and politely picky at restaurants. Successfully fit people find alternatives to selections on the menu. They know that it's the food choices they make, not the restaurant choices, that make them slim and healthy. They're not afraid to speak up at restaurants and ask politely for healthier requests, like asking that their dish be prepared with little to no butter or sauces or getting dressing on the side. My helpful tip is to choose 5 of the 10 healthy food habits you just heard so that you can begin practicing them immediately. Once you've conquered those, start integrating more into your daily habits. Remember to set yourself up for success. If you have a smartphone, use it to keep you on track by adding each habit as a note in your smartphone's reminder system. If you don't have a smartphone, write each healthy food habit on a Post-it note and post them in your kitchen. You just listened to the post titled 10 Food Habits of the Successfully Fit by Chalene Johnson of chalenejohnson.com. Dr. Neil here for my commentary. Now, if you were to go back and re-listen to this episode and really think about each of these 10 tips, it doesn't really sound like Chalene's asking us to do a whole lot. 10 tips sound like a lot, but when you look at each one, they're actually small little baby steps towards a healthier lifestyle. Like tip number 2, eating breakfast. If you don't eat breakfast right now, you can start incorporating that into your lifestyle. And when we say breakfast, it doesn't have to be a big bowl of oatmeal or 2 eggs with a side of yogurt and a slice of whole wheat toast. It can just be half a banana if you're not a breakfast person. Tip number 3 was to drink water. Just drink more water than you're doing right now, especially if your urine is mostly a dark yellow color most of the time. I actually love tip number 5, eating whole foods first. When you sit down for a meal, especially lunch or dinner, and when you look down at your plate, it's a good idea to eat the minimally processed foods first. I know when you go to a restaurant, they'll serve you like tortilla chips or breadsticks first. Those are obviously highly processed. Now, I'm not saying you can't have those foods, but what I'd recommend instead is to wait until your meal comes. Don't let them take away those tortilla chips or breadsticks if you want them, but wait till your meal comes. Eat the vegetables on your plate first, then the protein, and then indulge in the breadsticks and tortilla chips and stuff like that. And I have a feeling you'll eat a lot less of those tortilla chips and breadsticks and instead eat more of the whole foods that were on your plate. Oh, and when it comes to eating the same foods day in and day out, I'm actually going to talk about that more on this week's Friday Q&A episode, so definitely come back for my take on that. And again, as Chalene mentioned, choose 5 of these 10 tips, or choose just 1 or 2 if that's more realistic for you. The bottom line is, just start. All right, thank you for being here. Thank you for listening every day. I hope you're having a wonderful week so far, and I'll see you back here tomorrow for our Wednesday episode and where your optimal life awaits.
Hello, Life Optimizer. This is Justin Malik, creator and producer of this show and Optimal Living Daily, the brother podcast of this one. Literally, I'm Dr. Neil's brother. If you like the format of this show, you'll love Optimal Living Daily too, where I also read to you from blogs, but cover other topics like personal development, finance, and minimalism from bloggers like Derek Sivers, The Minimalists, Zen Habits, and many more. So for more amazing content read to you for free, come subscribe to Optimal Living Daily too, and together we'll optimize your life.
You've been listening to Optimal Health Daily. Be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date on each new episode, and head to oldpodcast.com. That's oldpodcast.com for a free gift, as well as more actionable tips and resources to help you maximize your potential. Thanks for joining us, and remember, your optimal life awaits.